everybody, it's Mike Young, lifestyle nutritionist with aPlantBasedDiet.org. Welcome to chapter 48 of the Live to 150 book. This one is all about type 2 diabetes or adult onset diabetes, or there's all kinds of different things. It's an imbalance in your bloodstream. But let's dive straight into this because this is important. I wasn't even sure if I had done a chapter on this when I talked about the food earlier, but of course I hadn't because I was dealing more with the psychological aspects before that. Let's get right into this because this is a serious issue that people have, and it has serious consequences. Let me tell you, if you're not sure, if you think it's going to be a boring chapter, let me tell you right away, the leading cause of blindness and limb loss in humans is type 2 diabetes. All right. It is a killer. It is going to quickly, when you get this, usually it's metabolic syndrome is sometimes thrown around with this. It's because your body is just starting to shut down. It's like, I've had enough. You've been doing things too wrong for too long, and I'm just going to start shutting stuff down and maybe get your attention, like really shutting stuff down, like all kinds of issues with your limbs, especially your legs, your toes, your hands, your eyes, your eyesight. You know, even cataracts is in there because that's the beginnings of you losing your vision, basically. Okay, your body's designed to heal itself. But why type 2 diabetes? How do you get it? How do you prevent it? What's the key? What are the key factors here? Well, of course, as I talked about in chapter 42, it's all about the food. If you want to go back and learn what food you're supposed to be eating, go back to chapter 42. If you're not eating the right food, here's what's going to happen. You're almost certainly, especially if you're eating the standard American diet or you aspire to do that, you want to eat like Americans, you're going to be eating too high of a percentage of calories from fat. And that's basically what's going on with type 2 diabetes, is that you are eating overall and regularly and consistently too high of a percentage of calories from fat. You get all this fat swimming around in your bloodstream, and it starts screwing up the way your cells handle things, okay? They just don't work the way they're supposed to, and things start to shut down at the cellular level. That's why you start to lose systems in your body, like your vision, the blood flow starts to get bad, especially on the extremities. Like I said, the feet, the toes, legs, fingers, eyesight, these types of things. Okay. We're going to get into more of like what we call type 3 in the next chapter, but we're just talking about type 2 for now. So the key is you just have to recognize that you're doing this to yourself. There's no reason to have it. And I know I said adult onset diabetes earlier in this chapter, but unfortunately kids have it nowadays. Okay. And if they don't have full-blown type 2 diabetes, they're on their way if you do blood tests. I mean, many people have said that, you know, kids as young as 10 years old have symptoms of what's going on if you're really doing the proper test to find out what's actually going on. And of course, nobody really is, because they still haven't really drawn the correlation between what's being eaten and this disease, this needless disease, this disease of affluence, basically. All right. It's because everything's here. It's everything we want. It's all about our taste buds and the food chemists designing everything to give us that maximum explosion of taste in our mouth. And then it's totally debilitating us on the inside. You don't even realize that it happens slowly over time, so slow that you don't draw the correlation. And that's why I'm here. If somebody you know can benefit from this chapter, please share this video with them, tag them in the comments, do whatever it takes. Watch this video yourself a couple of times so you've memorized all of what's going on. You can explain this in a conversation to somebody. That might even have more of an effect on people, because usually they're not going to want to pick up and read about something that is going to force them to change their habits or even watch all these videos in this V-book. But the bottom line is, because of the fact that there's too much fat in your blood, it attacks your body at the cellular level. Your cells start to malfunction, and that's when you have issues with basically at the cellular level, like I said, with type 2 diabetes. It causes all types of problems. But the big takeaway, the only thing you need to remember from this is that it's, in most cases, in almost all cases, it's completely reversible, it's completely preventable, and you can absolutely halt the progression of the disease. Because if you've known someone who's had this, they usually end up in a wheelchair, they're losing limbs, they go blind, some kind of combination of that, something, you know, maybe not as extreme as all those examples, but somewhere along the way, and just keep getting worse and worse over time. You know why? It's because they don't change their diet. It's really as simple as that. All you have to do is change your diet, and then your cells will be able to function the way they're supposed to. The blood sugar levels is a common thing with diabetic patients. Okay, you can tell how efficiently your body is functioning internally by checking on that. So you'll be able to see by doing the right tests. And if you're going to the doctor, hopefully if you have type 2 diabetes, you're going to a physician. I am not a physician. We don't practice medicine, but we do talk about what to eat. That's why I'm a lifestyle nutritionist. And if you start to change what you're eating, when you go to the doctor, they're going to run these tests. They're going to see that things are actually improving, and they're actually going to ask you, what are you doing? Probably because they're not going to either know what we're talking about here, or they're not going to think anyone's willing to change decades of habits. But as long as you're open-minded, and of course, go back to the beginning of the book, all these psychology chapters, you'll be able to do this, and you'll be able to be successful, and you'll be able to live to 150, and you'll be able to have a lot of fun and not be miserable and suffering for the entire second half of your life, which I feel like is basically what people do, especially with type 2 diabetes. And don't think that type 2 diabetes just ends there, and you just have the few, which are horrific side effects that I've already told you about. Of course, all the medications, they don't work either, okay? They have side effects of their own, but that will progress into type 3, which we're going to get into in the next chapter. So hang around for that. But in the meantime, if you have any good stories, people that have reversed their type 2 diabetes, please comment below. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear, I don't know, maybe what you had to say to somebody to get them to recognize that they're doing this to themselves, that, the whole deck is stacked against them, but you can still do something about it, and you can actually cure and heal. What do you have to say? What do you have to do? Or maybe you've got a particular person that you know, or people that you know that are completely resistant to the idea that they can do something about this, and you have questions like, well, tell us more about the situation. Maybe somebody in the comments will read that, and they will try to figure out a fix for you, tell you something that'll work or that did work with them. So thank you very much for watching, and be sure to like, of course, this video if you got some value out of it. Subscribe so you get every update whenever we have a new chapter out in the book, and we'll see you in the next chapter. Bye-bye.